I don't know what the persuasion of somebody outside the council or where it was the wrong idea. That's not for me to worry about or think about. I'm just worrying about the city being the city I want it to be. 4 years ago, I had the best work crew. There was none better. There was none better. Now, on my police force, instead of having 6, I want them at 8. Now I've got 5. Now, what's happened is my employees having nothing to look forward to as revenue coming in. Then we took their revenue. We took their revenue, their money, and none coming in to replace that, and no future to look forward to by working and living in Louisiana. Now, here's the problem. I've already lost one from the water plant because he was afraid his wife would get laid off, and they couldn't make it on what they were drawing. He was afraid his job was not secure because he thought it's laying off, then I don't have any security. I laid off 2 street department guys because we couldn't afford to pay them. I've had, as I said, 1 police officer to already leave. I lost 1 water person guy that Dave can tell you was a very, very dependable and a very, very good employee. Now, my problem is with this. There are no raises available, and I will have to agree that probably there wasn't any money in the budget to give raises for. They had some in the water, and we took them all out. We took them all out. We took their insurance premiums all out. They're paying the same thing now as my city employees are paying, the very same amount of money. And we have lost some very good employees, and I hate to lose them. Now, my point is, I'm vetoing this back to, I will do an 80-10, 90-10, I'm sorry, 90-10. I did 80, we were doing 80-20, it's already been effective, it's already been done. I will do an 80-10. I will sign the budget with an 80-10. 90-10, much as a cent or half a cent and a half or whatever. So here's where I stand. And I know a veto can be overridden. I didn't come out of fall off a cabbage wagon yesterday. I know a veto can be overridden. And I know that I can override a veto. The governor does, the president does, and the city government does. Because I do it in all good conscience toward my employees, toward my employees. They're the ones that work here. They're the ones that make this city what it is. And right now, I've never saw the city of Louisiana in such bad shape as it's in right now because I've only got 1 street employee now. I've got 1 out there, or what he brought him home today, laying flat on his back, not knowing what the future holds for him at all, health-wise. Now I've got 1 street employee. So don't look for a lot of work to be done until we get something changed here. So now it's not, without saying more, I think I said enough, I will veto the 20%, and I will sign the budget at 90-10%. And I guess it's up to the council to either amend the budget or override my veto, and it's up to the council at this point.
Did everyone on the council get my memo on the relevant statutory section on overriding them? Just for the benefit of the audience members, the mayor can veto an ordinance, and when he does, the city council has the choice of overriding that veto. And this is not the entire statute, but this is part of it. It says no ordinance shall take effect without the mayor's approval unless it fails to return it to the legislative body within 10 days after receiving it, or unless the council votes to override the mayor's veto. Now, upon reconsideration of the ordinance not later than the 2nd regular meeting following its return, an affirmative vote of 1 more than a majority of the membership. So that's how council, if they want to, can override the mayor's veto. 1 more than a majority of the membership, I think it's 5 people.
It's fine.
And whether you do it or don't, I know you all want to discuss them, that's fine, makes no difference to me.
They want it 1.
It makes no difference to me, I just want to explain what they need to do. If you don't override the veto, then we are back to square one on coming up with another ordinance. Now, again, it makes no difference to me. I just work here, but we would have to come up with another ordinance, another budget. And as with all budgets, it's got to be a balanced budget. And so that is the situation that we're in, but we do have to have a budget. Right now, we're operating without a budget. Under the law, that means we're operating under the old budget. Now, this has created confusion for me, and I think for Kathy and probably for Beth, because the council made an administrative directive that, you know, they hold out 20% insurance, 20% for the insurance premium, which is fine. That's council's call. What I have instructed the city clerk and the water clerk to do until we get this sorted out is to just go ahead, starting August 1, and hold out the 20%. Because depending on what happens, we don't want to have to play catch-up. So I guess the floor is open whether or not council's going to override the veto, and if they don't, then we got to come up with another budget.
Well, with 10%,
Well, just a minute, I'm not through yet, two more things over here.
Okay.
What I'm worried about is that this just, what the 20% didn't just hurt the employee. It hurt the city of Louis. You might say, what do you mean, Mayor? I'm saying we don't have police patrol 24 hours a day because I don't have the 5 officers, and there are 2 more of them looking for jobs right now because there's no future. Nothing in the future for them to look forward to. I've lost one. He went to work for the big Sandy prison, which is great. He got a good job, and I'm proud of it. And we don't have the police patrol we had. The community, I want the community to know, Mark and Channel 3, I want the community to know that I'm doing it for their benefit as well as my employees' benefit. They want police protection. They're paying for it, but they're not getting it under this present amount that we did. I want them to know that we are doing it and for their benefit. They don't have police protection 24 hours a day now. Now, we had the insurance premium came up, that was vetoed. It wasn't voted on. We had the payroll tax, and that fell down. We had the flat rate tax, and that fell down. Now, I'm not just saying, the payroll tax hurts me as much as it hurts anybody. I have to pay it too. I hate taxes. I hate the word taxes. And so does the government hate the word taxes, but the government's run on taxes, the state's run on taxes, the city government's run on taxes, and it's no strange thing to say about taxes. I hate it though, because I gotta pay it. But we're losing, our employees are losing benefits, the people out here in the community are losing benefits. The street's awful out here. One guy with a weed eater and a lawnmower trying to load it up in his truck, and you have to put somebody help load the lawnmower. I'm afraid he's gonna get hurt. I got the grass, some places up to my neck.
cut somewhere else until we can come up with revenue.
I'm trying to get that big count.
We gotta pass the budget, no matter what, whether it's 10 or 20%. I thought with the 20%, we did have a balanced budget.
Yeah, it was a balanced budget.
We
to a
did,
certain
but,
extent.
what happened was, we lost $7,000 last week to the cop in school. The school wants somebody in the school all day long, but they only want to pay $7,000. We don't have an officer that can do that
No, not
for that
right.
for that amount of time. And so, I don't know where that's gonna go. I think we have lost that $7,000. I actually had to check in my handbook, was asked to hold it when he found out he couldn't have somebody out there all day long.
Well,
So the way I had figured it before, at 10%, it would save $23,400. So at 20%, that was doubled. So if you put it back down to 10%, that puts that 23,000 back in there. That's the way I'm thinking without having all that in front of me.
well, could we do maybe the 10% and see what our budget's gonna be before we vote on it? Is that possible?
I didn't do a 10% to see what it would do. I didn't have Kathy do a 10%.
No, I'm telling that.
But,
If we do
it is,
10%,
I just thought,
it's
I
not gonna
never
be
thought about
balanced, it's not gonna be balanced 23,000, and then that 7,000, so it's not gonna be balanced $30,000.
So we have to cut 30 more?
We want to find some new revenue to do that. with.
Well, we need to discuss that flat tax like we talked about, which we didn't discuss.
Did the flat, I think the budget give us some info on the flat tax rate, if they did it in Huntington maybe or somewhere. then
No,
they come
that's
back
over in
with-
West Virginia, Judge. I mean,
She's saying yes, so she's not Huntington.
What,
no.
what it is, that we looked into that because that was one of the things we were looking at. And I just ran it by the League of Cities because this is new ground for me. And they didn't think a flat tax would work because of the statutory structure talks about, you know, a percent.
Well, we'll do a percent that equals what the flat tax might be,
Well, that can be done.
but still call it a flat tax. Can we do that?
Well, no, it's gonna have to be a percent of what the revenue is. You have to call it what it is.
Yeah.
Because if, the thing about it, if you have somebody making $20,000 a year, you got somebody else making $100,000 a year, obviously, if you just have across the board $100 a year for the $20,000 guy and the $100,000 a year guy, then that's obviously not a percent.
What about the occupational license? What do they pay now?
It doesn't really bring in any.
No, no.
Well, if we raise it, it will. It'll bring something in. I mean, we're just
Miss-
trying to figure out something without doing a payroll tax, that's all.
Well, I'd like to say in public that one of the, when we discussed the payroll tax to begin with, there was so many audience comments that were not correct. We had one lady who said she would pay $12,000. I went to her boss and I got what she made, she would pay $127 for the year.
Her boss give you that information?
Yes, it was over the record.